The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. W's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by W, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. W's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. W Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese cheesesteak and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are hanging out with you here on a Tuesday morning. Did you miss me yesterday? I missed y'all, but we are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course on Roku with National Streaming Sports. Shout outs to our friends over at National Streaming Sports for allowing us to do our silly nonsense that we do on there. Now, obviously people are going to ask, Tip, why weren't you here yesterday? And the easy answer to that is there was a car accident. Yep, people need to learn how to use a roundabout. Not going to go into much more detail than that, other than people need to learn how to use a GD roundabout. We are good to go on all of the other streaming services, all the things that we are doing right there. But that's what it was. Little car accident, nothing big. Everybody's fine. Everyone's feeling good. We are here live on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Let's turn that down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now, obviously, we didn't get to talk a lot about some of the stuff that was going on in the world of sports over the weekend. You had a bunch of Game 7s, or 2 Game 7s, one in hockey, one in the NBA. Augustine Pimentel saying that if you're not going to go into detail, that means it was your fault. Lola B. Don't know what Lola B is, but no, it's just I've been talking about it almost nonstop since it happened yesterday. And I'm just tired of talking about it. Like, how many times do you have to explain, okay, I got hit in a roundabout. Someone came, hit the side of my car. Not something I want to just continue talking about. I spent the last 24 hours, yes, 24 hours now, talking about this accident. I just want to move on, Augustine. My apologies. Especially for you. You're the one who called yesterday to ask what the hell happened. Nonetheless, moving on. So there were 2 Game 7s that happened this weekend, one in the NHL, one in the NBA, and both of them were absolute blowouts, which is one of those like strange occurrences you don't really get because you kind of want Game 7s to be close, right? Like you made it all the way. Luckily, Tommy, it was not in the Mustang. It was in the Chevy Traverse. So the Mustang is doing good. There was a Chevy Traverse, just a little dent on the driver's side door and a scratch that goes all the way to the back passenger door on the driver's side as well. What would that be? The driver passenger side door? Like I don't understand like how you would call that. Augustine saying it's because I care. No, you don't. Don't sit there and pretend like you care. You just want the drama. Yeah, going through the insurance process, all that good stuff. I think that's what it is like I'm preparing myself for that headache, getting a rental, having to do all that good stuff. It's just, it's one of those things that you don't want to do. First accident in, 12 or 15 years? Augustine saying, I care about the drama. LOL. And we didn't get any drama in these Game 7s, right? Like in the NHL, you had the Maple Leafs, who seem to be a very cursed franchise right now, taking on the Florida Panthers. You go to Game 7. That means the entire series was back and forth. The Maple Leafs go at home in Toronto against the defending champion Florida Panthers in the NHL. And they lose 6-1 in a hockey game. Do you know how hard it is to lose 6-1 in a hockey game? It's the equivalent of losing an NBA Game 7 on the road by 32 points, just like Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets did. Oklahoma City went out there and just took their cookies. Like Augustine was right. Ran them off the court. It looked like Denver might have something going their way in the first quarter. Aaron Gordon was out there playing. People were wondering why he was out there playing. He had a grade 2 hamstring strain. And, that's the same thing that happened with Steph Curry. Maybe he's not going to be there. Whatever it is, blah, 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 right? But the Nuggets come out in Game 1 or in Game 7. And in the first quarter, they absolutely dominate. Absolutely dominate that first quarter. Have themselves a nice little 6-point lead in that first quarter. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's going to be a game. And then somehow, some way, Oklahoma City, sorry, it was a 5-point lead. Oklahoma City outscores Denver 39-20 in the second quarter. 39-20 in the second quarter of that game. Augustine saying, I always knew OKC was going to win. I always knew it. I knew it from the beginning. And he was right. He was right on that one. And with that loss, I go to 0-4. 0-4 in the semifinal round of the NBA playoffs. Eastern Conference and Western Conference semifinals. I go 0-4. I had Boston beating New York, lost that one. Had the Cleveland Cavaliers, put trust in the Cleveland Cavaliers, lost that one. Had faith in Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. They lose in Game 7 in embarrassing fashion. And then, of course, I had Golden State beating the Minnesota Timberwolves, Minnesota dispatching of Golden State in 5 games. We're going to have Game 1 tonight between Minnesota and OKC. Diamond Canonsa saying he went 2-2. I guess that, and you can even hear it in my voice. Like whenever I made the predictions, I'll cut it up and play it tomorrow because I got no problem being wrong. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh my God, I can't be wrong. What's going to happen if I'm wrong? I'm wrong a lot. I was just way wrong this time. But how disappointing is that for like 2 Game 7s, right? Like even in hockey, with as exciting as hockey is, with their Game 7s, that both of them were just absolute blowouts. Just absolute blowouts. Like nothing fun to watch, just an ass whooping. And it's one of those things that like really, you want Game 7 to have drama. You want Game 7 to be one of those like legendary style games, right? Like the games that we all talk about. And it just seems like as of recent, the last couple of Game 7s in the NBA haven't been close games. They've been absolute blowouts. And it makes the game, in my opinion at least, a little less fun. A little less fun. Hockey is always going to be fun no matter what. Whenever you're watching the hockey playoffs, it's always going to be fun. So I'm excited about Carolina taking on the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricane taking on the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final over there. McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference Final. I've been watching a lot of hockey. I got to start watching a little more soccer. As a matter of fact, later on today, I'm going to be in the Zoom call for the U.S. Women's National Team. They're going to have like press availability. So I'm going to be in that Zoom call as well. And that's going to be fun. Trying to step up my soccer knowledge. I'm afraid to make predictions now. Terrified of it. The Golden or the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder, 2 teams that I didn't think was going to be here, are here. After going 0 for 4, your boy has to now try to salvage the rest of this matchups that I have going here for me. Went 5-3 in the first round, 0 for 4 in this last round. That means we're 2 or we're 5-7 for the playoffs and predicting this, right? So I've got to win 3 in a row in order to get above 500. I've got to win 3 in a row. The Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now you look at the regular season record, 68-14 for Oklahoma City, 49-33 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tommy Cananza saying it's going to be the Thunder and the Knicks. I like the matchup, though, that the Timberwolves give Oklahoma City. But I also like the matchup that the Denver Nuggets gave Oklahoma City. So maybe I'm just someone that doesn't know what's going on in the world of basketball anymore. I've gotten old. No longer understand basketball. The game has passed me by. Au revoir, game. I used to love you. Now I don't understand you. I am trying to look up. Okay, so the spread right here is Oklahoma City by 7.5. That should show you. That should show you the respect that Vegas is putting on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Because if you remember, going back to all of the games against the Denver Nuggets, the Oklahoma City Thunder were a 10.5-point favorite or more. There was always those double-digit wins, right? Minnesota creates a little bit of a matchup problem for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's going to be a great matchup to watch. Rudy Gobert, what's he going to do against Chet Holmgren? Julius Randle, how's he going to perform? Like these teams are very evenly matched. But I think the edge has to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. right? Like OKC, they've had one of the best defenses in the NBA. They had the best record in the NBA by far, and we've seen it. They have a whole total defense mentality on that team. Everything they do on that team is a team effort. It's not just one guy doing all of it. It's the whole team effort surrounding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's the undeniable MVP of that team, the best player on that team, undeniable. The issue with Minnesota is sometimes they get a little shot happy. I've seen games where Minnesota has a lead and just starts jacking up threes instead of expanding on the lead that way. Tommy Canazza saying, whoever it is, it's going to be a boring finals. LOL. The NBA is going to hate the fact that the only big market in the playoffs left is NYC. I think the story right there with the New York Knicks, and we'll get to them in just a little bit, but I think the story that surrounds the New York Knicks is one that's a little fun, right? Like I think that that's something that the NBA wants. Augustine and I were talking about this a couple of days ago. The refereeing, right? The officiating in these games. Man, the NBA, once again, we say it all the time. I don't believe in the NBA having the what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't believe in the conspiracy theories that surround the NBA that everything in the NBA is rigged. Like, I really don't. But man, they make it hard for me to believe that nothing is rigged in the NBA. They make it extremely hard for people like me to sit back and believe, oh no, yeah, everything is fine. Everything is good with the NBA. There's nothing nefarious going on here with the NBA. They're all fine. It's good. I'm going to be watching the officiating here, and I feel like it's going to be very, very, very New York Knicks heavy on the team that's going to get the calls. Like I just feel like genuinely that's going to be the way, that the New York Knicks are going to be the team that winds up getting all of the calls, just all of the calls. And I don't think that it would be surprising to a lot of people if it was kind of obvious out there that the NBA wanted the Knicks to be in the finals. Right, like you can't have a Oklahoma City, Indiana Pacers NBA Finals. I think the NBA would lose their mind if that was the finals that they got. The Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's who I think the finals is going to be, if I'm being honest. I genuinely think that the finals is going to be between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that's that's the thing, right? It doesn't matter who it is out of the West anymore. Like, you could look at last year's NBA Finals. You had Dallas, the fifth largest market in the in sports, right? You had Boston with all the history and all of Boston. You had that last year. This year, if you don't get the Knicks, it's Indianapolis, Oklahoma City, or Minnesota. And I kind of want that chaos for the NBA. Like, it doesn't matter who wins out of the Western Conference. The fan base isn't going to be huge. I kind of want Oklahoma City to win just because that franchise being the former Sonics and all that stuff. I feel like they need a win. But I also feel the same way with, like, Minnesota, right? Like, Minnesota has been one of those snake bit franchises as well, having Kevin Garnett, spoiling all the time with Kevin Garnett. We're talking about a Minnesota Timberwolves team that's never been to an NBA Finals. Like, it would be awesome to see one of these two franchises make it to the NBA Finals, just like it would with the Indiana Pacers making it to an NBA Finals. They haven't been since, 2000? Whenever they got dominated by the LA Lakers. Was it them? I want to say it was them. Man, this is my basketball knowledge getting questioned right here, but I want to say the Indiana, they had to have made one NBA Final, right? Yeah, it was. It was in 2000. Look at me. Look at me getting it right. Again, this is going to be one of those nostalgia plays for us, right? Like, fans. We want to see everything happen that reminds us of the Pacers and Knicks from back in the day. The Pacers and Knicks from back in the day. I think the Western Conference Final is going to be the more fun final. I think that that's going to be a lot more points that are going to be put up. Both those teams can get hot and just put up points after points after points after points. And I feel like that's what it's going to be. That's going to be the more fun NBA final or conference final. I think that that's going to be the one that really kind of makes us as fans watch, tune in, be happy that we're watching what it is that we're watching. Sorry, guys, I'm just checking something here on one of the streams. Getting weird notifications on one of them. Sorry, guys. Well, it is what it is. If that stream is down, that stream is down. Sorry, Instagram. Not much I can do in order to help you all out with that, Instagram. Sorry. Okay, so the Western Conference Finals, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Once again, I think that that's going to be the more fun of the of the conference finals. I like Minnesota though. Like I can't see either one of these teams getting blown out. I can't see either one of these teams losing this series in like 5 games or 6 games. Like, I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think it's going to go the full 7. And I got the Oklahoma City Thunder winning it, taking it, winning this one at least, right? The Oklahoma City Thunder to me are a fun team to watch. They've proven me wrong in the Western Conference semifinals. They beat the hell out of Jokic. They beat the hell out of the Memphis Grizzlies, which we all thought they kind of would. There's something about that team. Once again, like the total team of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Augustine's saying, so it's a sweep by the other team. Whenever I said that, I think it's going to go 7 games, and it's going to be Oklahoma City Thunder. Augustine's going to say it's a sweep by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I will put money on that, Augustine, that it will not be a sweep by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like the matchup, though. Like, again, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, like, you look at these teams and they almost like Spider-Man meme one another. I also think it would be really awesome, like genuinely awesome, to see the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks in the NBA final, because you got to remember at the beginning of this season, they made a trade with each other. Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle get shipped out over to Minnesota from New York so that New York can get Karl Anthony Towns. And it seems to have been one of those rare trades where it works for both teams. I wouldn't be surprised if the Minnesota Timberwolves wind up winning this series. I just don't think it's going to happen. But as we know, I'm sitting here 5-7 right now with my NBA playoff predictions. 5-7 in the NBA playoff predictions. It's not looking good for your boy. The first round, we dominated, baby. But we're 0-4 in this last round of the playoffs. Once again, I own it. I hope that you picked against me. And you're like, this effing guy, he's an idiot. And you made some money by going over to Bovada.lv or to BetUS or whatever it is. You did what you got to do to get yourself your money. Betting against me. Again, I think Oklahoma City is going to win this series. Over the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think it's going to go the full 7 games. The next series that we got, the New York Knicks taking on the Indiana Pacers. This one for me is fun. Like, again, watching wrestling, doing all the stuff that I do. Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson were at a wrestling event. Tyrese Halliburton had some brass knuckles. It was in Madison Square Garden. He's wearing a Tyrese 317 shirt, like doing all kinds of stuff just to piss off the Madison Square Garden crowd. Jalen Brunson jumps over the edge, over the guardrail that they keep all the fans on that little side. Jalen Brunson jumps over the guardrail, grabs a chair, gets to the side of the good guy in Madison Square Garden, facing off with Logan Paul and Tyrese Halliburton. I like I like the Indiana Pacers being the heel somehow, being the bad guy in this series. New York, the lovable underdog loser. The New York Knicks are the lovable underdog somehow in everyone's mind. New York is that team that everyone's like, "Aw, haven't won a championship since 1973." It's been that long since the New York Knicks have won a championship. That game 6, where they close out the Boston Celtics, they absolutely dominate the Boston Celtics. Augustine and I were like, what if Boston wins this game? What if wasn't even a question in the first quarter of this game. Boston got their ass cut off and handed straight to them. The New York Knicks are, I think, the darling franchise here for some people. Right? Like, you want that fan base to be happy. If you're a hardcore NBA fan, you want the New York Knicks fan base to be happy. You see those stars go out, and you can see they genuinely care about the team. It's not like the LA Lakers stars where like they go out, they just want to be seen. It's like the stars are actually cheering the game. They're actually emotionally invested into the game. That's what I like about seeing those teams, right? Like the New York Knicks. But I also really want the chaos of the Indiana Pacers screwing it all up for New York. I root for the bad guy most of the time, right? I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've embraced that the Dallas Cowboys are like the heel of the NFL. I like to root for the bad guy. And I see the bad guy right now in Tyrese Halliburton. I see the bad guy in the Indiana Pacers. And I really think that this series is going to be just a knockdown drag out. Like, I don't think we're going to get pretty basketball like what we're going to get in Oklahoma City and Minnesota. The New York Knicks are a 4.5-point favorite at home in New York in the Garden, in the Mecca of basketball. But we have to remember the Indiana Pacers have been here before. The Indiana Pacers have done this song and dance. They've gone into hostile environments like they did in Milwaukee, like they did in Cleveland, and won game 1 on the road. This is a team that likes shutting up the home crowd. If there's a game for the New York Knicks to lose at home, it's going to be game 1. I'm going with the Indiana Pacers to win game 1. But I'm going to be keeping an eye out on the officiating, keeping an eye out on how the referees handle this game, what calls are going to go the New York Knicks way. I think I'll even have a sheet of paper with me to write down the foul, what the foul was like, what the replay said. Like I will do my own investigative report into this NBA Eastern Conference Final, because I really feel like the NBA, for a league that's really hard to manipulate, for a league that's really hard to fix, they do a terrible job of hiding it. We spoke about that with the NBA draft lottery, right? All the conspiracy theories, whenever the Knicks were able to get Patrick Ewing, the frozen envelope, the cold envelope. I know which one this one is because it's cold. Let me pull it out and say, haha, the New York Knicks have the number 1 overall pick. The Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers because we need the Lakers to be relevant. You get rewarded with the number 1 overall pick. For a league that's not fixed, they do a terrible job of making it seem like they're not fixed. Like they genuinely do. Game 1, I have Tyrese Halliburton and them boys going into New York City, beating the New York Knicks on the road in Madison Square Garden. Tommy Carranza saying it was fair. It was fair. Be quiet, Mike. It was fair. Maybe it was, Tommy. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe there's something there that we can look into. But I know there's one thing for sure we can get ready for and look into, and that's just the tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't
Just enough, just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by www.myhappynuts.com. Go visit www.myhappynuts.com and look for all of your male grooming products. You got the bush. The bush is the biggest. Get rid of that thing with the Bulber. You've got the anti-chafe stick. You've got the comfort cream that makes sure everything feels great. www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all of your male grooming needs. Tommy Cananza saying, made it home. Yes. Again, right as I pull into the driveway. Tommy Cananza has finally found his groove. Now all we got to do is just throw some traffic at him. That'll be the next curveball. Tomorrow, Tommy, you're going to be stuck in traffic, loud as all hell. And everyone's going to hear, I just want to put the tip in. Man, got to adjust my camera. There we go. The sun is rising. I got the blinds open a little bit over there as well. So that way you can see the nice skin tone of mine. No such thing. Tommy Collins saying, you jerk. Augustine saying that Tommy is playing with fire. He really is. At least this time he wasn't in Walmart or Whataburger or 7-Eleven or any of that stuff. So Tommy's doing good. Tommy's doing good. Just get home, have it loud as all hell. The bass line in that song slaps, my guy. You got to give me that. Augustine saying it's not like Tommy doesn't know how to drive and gets into an accident. I've had one accident in 15 years. Nonetheless, it's just annoying. I understand accidents happen. Had to explain to the boys about the accident. Jinder, my youngest, loves cars. He genuinely loves cars. And I knew that I would have to explain to him why there was a dent and why there was a scratch on the car. And the whole way over to school, he was like, man, we really got to get this scratch fixed. I'm like, I know, buddy. I know. I'm going to see what it is, like what I can get as a rental. Tommy Canazza saying, no, I've never been in an accident, knocking on wood. That's good for you, my dude. I hope that trend continues. I genuinely do. It's more of an annoyance. Like it really is. It's more of an annoyance than anything else. I'm not even really that upset anymore. It's just the paperwork, all that stuff that you got to get. I am thinking of the rental, though. I wonder what type of rental I can get. I wonder if I can get like a Yukon Denali or something like that. Or is it something that's similar to my car? I guess I gotta figure it out. What the rental might be. Because maybe, just maybe, I will buy a new car in the future. We shall see. At least it won't be a beat-up F-150 like the one that ran into me yesterday. Nonetheless, it's all right. Woosah. We are good. So I saw something that came over the interweb yesterday. And it was talking about the gauntlet, the unfortunate scheduling that the Dallas Cowboys got. Once again, we're talking about this is supposed to be a third place schedule for the Dallas Cowboys, and it winds up being the fifth hardest schedule in the NFL. And I sat back and I thought to myself, wow, man, you look at this stretch. Philadelphia, this is right around Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas, right? From the week before Thanksgiving to Christmas. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, the Chargers, and the Commanders. 6 straight games there. 6 straight games that are going to be extremely difficult for the Dallas Cowboys. 6 straight games there for the Dallas Cowboys. And out of those 4 games, or out of those 6 games, 4 are against teams that won 14 games last year. The first time in NFL history that a team will have to face 4 teams that won 14 games or more. The Chiefs, the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Lions. And they have them in back-to-back-to-back-to-back games. That's where the Dallas Cowboys are. They come out of the bye week. They get the Las Vegas Raiders. On Monday Night Football, they get the Las Vegas Raiders. And then they get the gauntlet of the Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings. 4 straight teams that won 14 games the year before. The first time in NFL history that this has happened in any schedule. And then you add on the Los Angeles Chargers and the Washington Commanders, and the Cowboys become the only team in NFL history to, at any point in time, face 6 teams that won 11 or more games in a season. 11 or more games in a season. And they are doing this back to back to back to back to back to back. Tommy Canazza saying, bring it on. We want all of the smoke. It will show us if we're ready for a real playoff run. And that's the way you win the season, right? Then you get the cupcake game of the New York Giants at the end of the season. Tommy Canazza saying, I got a rental car when my car was in the shop and they lent me some EV Honda. That shit sang a song every time I got in reverse. My youngest son has been in I don't know what's going on here, but he really got into EVs. And I know there's a part of me that's like, I can get like a Tesla, right? Like I can get one of those and use that as my rental car. But I also don't want to use a Tesla for obvious reasons. And I'm also not like big on EVs. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, you guys take the Traverse, give me another Mustang. Let's see how this goes, right? Like I want to see what the new Mustang handles like. Tommy Canazza giving the middle finger over to Tesla. I kind of agree, my guy. Couldn't agree more. But like I do want to try like some of the EVs. Just for my son. Like I don't think I would buy an EV. Not because I don't care about the environment. I do care about the environment, but I like my Mustangs. I like what I like. I'm old. I'm already get off the lawn guy, right? Like I embrace who I am as a person. So I am kind of like I'm looking forward to, as dumb as this sounds, I'm looking forward to what my new rental car is going to be while my Traverse is in the shop. I will miss my Traverse. We call it the Dark Knight. I will miss the Traverse, but I'm also interested to see what other cars are out there. Tommy's saying you get tax breaks if you buy a new EV. There's something about tax breaks that I might not give you. I need to cut it out. I need to cut that out. Back to the Dallas Cowboys schedule. 6 straight games at the end of the season. 6 straight games at the end of the season against those teams. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Chargers, and the Washington Commanders. Tommy Canazza saying you own a Chevy and a Ford. What the hell? I'm an American, brother. See, man, this is going deep into the well with me now, okay? Like, my whole family growing up, they were all Chevy people. My dad called me a word with the hard F and ended with a got because I liked Mustangs. He called me that word because I like Mustangs. My dad did. And I always wanted to. And there's still a part of me that might do this as I get older. I love Chevy engines, right? Like the big block 400s. I love those. A 350. My first car was a Buick Century Coupe, 1973 Buick Century Coupe with a 350 in it, and we did so much work on that damn thing. And I always wanted to put like that 350 or a 400 in a classic Mustang. And there's a part of me that still might do something like that because I just want to piss people off. It's what I do most. Augustine saying, get the Kia K4. It's nice. I might look into it. We'll see what it is. And they are coming out with the hatchback. It looks nice. It's the one that he's getting. So if that's the one you're getting, I'm definitely not getting a Kia. Augustine saying Chevy and Ford, they are all built in Mexico. Hey, whoa there, guy. Whoa. We will not besmirch the good name of Chevy and Ford. I don't care how true it is. Tommy Canazza saying, I'd rather push my Chevy than drive a Ford. I'm sure you do that plenty. Augustine saying Kia is mostly made in the USA. I got to try to remember what it was. There is a Kia that I was interested in looking at, like a Kia SUV. So I got to check it out. I don't know enough about other cars than I do what I know, right? Like what I love, what I know, right? Like my Mustang, this is what my third Mustang that I've had. My Traverse, I've had a Suburban. Like I've always kind of been that way. Tommy Canazza saying my first car was a Z28 Camaro. Oh, dude, I used to love those like 80s models Camaros with the T-tops and stuff. Like an IROC. Give me an IROC, like a 1987 IROC with the honeycomb wheels, and I am a happy guy. Like I love those, man. I had a buddy of mine that had a Trans Am. I want to say it was like an 87 or an 88 Trans Am. And I absolutely loved that car. There you go, that 1984 Z28. Augustine saying the IROC, LOL. Man, I am telling you, man. I love older vehicles. But like I really do. The only Mustangs I don't like are like those late 70s all the way through the 80s up until the early 90s. I'm not a fan of the Fox body, right? I'm just not. I wish I could be, but I'm not. The Mustang 2s and stuff like that, I wasn't a fan of. You give me a classic Mustang, anywhere from 64 to like 70, maybe 69 might be my barrier there. 1969 might be my barrier there. I turned down buying a Mach 1 because it was a 1973. Augustine saying, if you know what... Jesus, I almost died right there, Augustine. Did you see that? I started trying to read your comment. And look what happens to me. Ugh. Jesus. That's going to be fun to edit out of the podcast. Oh, man. Almost died there, Augustine. You see what happened? He does. Tommy saying Augustine has that effect. Oh, man. Spent the last 2.5 minutes of the show just coughing my brains out, Augustine. Thanks, buddy. Augustine saying it's my fault you have a Ford engine inside you. Oh, man. I always love that, too, because I got a lot of buddies, right? And all my friends are mostly Chevy guys. I've always embraced being the outlier. Like, again, I love the Mustang bodies. I wish, though, and I will agree with people on this one. I wish, though, that they had more of the Chevy body style, or not body style, like the Chevy engines, like an LS1, Oh man, I wanted to do an LS1 engine swap with an older Mustang I had. I had a 1998 Mustang. I love that rounded out body of like the 80s and early, or not the 80s, or the 90s and early 2000s body style, like the Cobra R and stuff like that. Like I loved it, and I always wanted to drop in place of the 8-cylinder that I had, that little 4.6. I wanted to swap in an LS1 once again, just because I knew it would piss people off. I wish that like Camaro and like some of the other sports cars that Chevy had back in the 90s would have looked as cool as like the Mustangs did. And even whenever they brought the Camaro back, they made it do that retro body style to kind of look like the Mustang, to kind of have that look to it. And I just wasn't like be your own thing. Like back in the day, they used to be their own thing. And that's what I miss. I really miss that. But I would have loved to have done that LS1 engine swap, get rid of that 4.6 that Mustang had, and put in that LS1 and just roast tires left and right. I took out the back seat and everything. Like that, I had a roll cage in it. I rolled it over. That was also young and dumb tip. Tommy Canazza saying I might be getting a Challenger soon. Nice. I do love a Dodge Challenger. I wanted to get the Charger. I wanted to get like a Hemi Charger, so that way I can be like, no. Look, I'm a family man. I just have a car that can go really fast. Augustine saying, I just like my 12-cylinder. What 12-cylinder do you have? You telling me you got like a Viper or something like that? And before someone comes after me, yes, I know a Viper had a 10-cylinder. My uncle, whenever he lived in Lubbock, I remember that my uncle had like a car dealership up in Lubbock, and he had an old classic 16-cylinder, like 1936 Lincoln. A 1936 Lincoln 16-cylinder car. And I just remember thinking to myself, that is such a... And whenever he would start it up, the noise that thing would make, how loud it was. Man. And I know it was custom, like everything on it was custom, but like my uncle's 16-cylinder Lincoln that he had, that thing, I could only imagine what the gas mileage in that must have been, because that thing was a tank. I'm dying over here, guys. Tommy Canazzo saying, Augustine has the Patamobile. Dos patas? Man, I wonder what Augustine's first car was. He's going to say it's something like a Porsche or a Lamborghini or something like that. We all know it's a lie. But yeah, my very first car, 1973 Buick Century Coupe with a 350 in it. My cousin had a 1982 Camaro. Man. And then I also remember I had a 1996 Ford Taurus station wagon. I was going to drop it and make it like all Euro spec, but I just couldn't do it. Be super annoying. Yes, I had the 1996 Ford Taurus shaggin' wagon. Put the emergency brake on and just roast those front tires on that front wheel drive. Augustine saying, no, my first car was an IROC. That's why I know what it means. There we go. Tommy Canazza saying, I also had a 1992 Thunderbird Supercharged. Man, that's beautiful. Okay. I know we've gotten off the topic of sports. I'm sorry, everybody. I love cars. Okay. So I can talk about this all damn day. My parents had at their house, Tommy, a 1967 Thunderbird with the suicide doors. And I always told my dad, like, that was the car that I wanted to fix up. That was the car that I wanted. I don't care what he did with anything else. Just let me, as I got into high school, start fixing up this car. I bought close to $500 worth of parts because I was going to rebuild this engine and do all this stuff. Fix the tires, changed out the tires, started, cleaning out the interior because it had been sitting for like 20 years, whatever it was. And one day, whenever I went to school, My dad sold this 1967 Thunderbird with suicide doors for $200. Fast forward a decade or so more, I meet a friend whose cousin bought that car from my dad and sold it after he fixed it up for $80,000. And I just remember thinking to myself, how dare you SOB, sell the car that I told you I wanted for $200. I bought $500 worth of parts that I started putting on this car, and you sold it for $200. A 1967 Thunderbird with suicide doors, and one of the rare cars from the 1960s that had power everything. Power windows, the seats would recline, all of that stuff. And I just remember thinking to myself, you sold it for $200. Augustine saying your dad didn't like you. Tommy saying what a jerk. It had to be. It had to be that, dude. And I mean, I'm telling you, ever since like second grade, right? Ever since second grade, I'm like, that's going to be my car. I would tell him, please don't sell that car. Out of everything you do, don't sell that car because I want that car. And I knew it was going to be like a Herculean task to get this thing back up and working, but I wanted to do the work. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, Tommy. Electric, everything. It even had that old school cruise control. Like it was such. I don't know where they got that car from because obviously I wasn't alive in 1967. That was 14 years before, or 17 years before I was born. But I'm just like, it was such a beautiful car, such a beautiful car. And that was the thing. Like, if I had been able to fix that car up, I know, like yes, the value on it probably would have been astronomical. Again, my friend's cousin sold it for $85,000. I don't think I would have sold that car. Like it was such a beautiful, beautiful car, and he sold it for $200. I remember thinking to myself, you are a terrible businessman. No wonder we have to move mobile homes every weekend. What the hell are you doing with your money? Woosah. It'll be okay, Tip. It'll be all right. Just like it'll be all right for the Dallas Cowboys as they have that gauntlet of a schedule. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Los Angeles, and the Washington Commanders of the Los Angeles Chargers. The good thing for the Cowboys is 4 out of those 6 games are at home. Augustine saying, I've had really nice cars, but I don't like old cars. I like new cars. I like the older cars, man. There's something about those, right? Like my goal one of these days, if I ever hit the lottery, is I want to have a Mustang of every generation. And I know you're like, Tip, you just said you don't like the Mustang 2. You don't like the Fox bodies. Doesn't mean I'm going to drive it. I just want to have it, right? Like that's what I want. I want a Mustang of every generation, every single generation that's out there of Mustang. And I'd be the same way with like a Corvette. Those are just so much more expensive. Now we're talking cars. You guys are talking my language right now. The tipping point, sports and cars. I can do this all day. Tommy Kanata saying, man, I just looked it up. It's really badass. I would have hated my dad forever. I never said I got over it. I never said I forgave him. He's 95 years old, and I will still be like, you remember that time you sold that effing car that I wanted for $200? You son of a bitch. Sorry, Roku. It just came out. And all he's got to do is be like, you're adopted. And I'll be like, I know I'm adopted. Man. That 1967 Ford Thunderbird with suicide doors. It was such a beautiful car. It was obviously a tank, but it was such a beautiful car. And I remember like seeing it in the backyard. We had goats and cows. I'm telling you guys, I grew up on a farm. We had goats and stuff, and like the goats would be climbing all over it, so it had little hoof dents and stuff like that. But I remember looking at it at its absolute worst and thinking to myself, that car right there is a diamond. Like what we can do. And I knew it was going to be a ton of work to get that car where it needed to be. It had leather, 1967 gross, disgusting leather. that I was willing to fix up and do all that stuff for. Again, I bought $500 worth of parts as a freshman in high school that I started putting into this car, and he sells it for $200. Oh, man. Woosah. Woosah. We're talking about that was like 25 years ago. I'm still not over it. A quarter of a century has passed. Longer, almost as long as the Dallas Cowboys not winning a Super Bowl has gone on with this car being sold from my dad. I guess $200 in 1997 must have gone a long way. Augustine Tommy, I've been scared because I've been seeing a lot of people out there saying that the Dallas Cowboys are going to go anywhere from 12-5 to 13-4. I am terrified of this because I think we all thought that as well. Vegas has to know something. The over-under for the Dallas Cowboys being 7.5 games terrifies me. Terrifies me. Tommy Cananza laughing at me. Augustine saying my dream car is the Aventador, which I have driven a bunch of times. I have to look that up. I don't even know what type of car that is. I'll have to look that up. I don't think I've heard of it. If it's European spec, my knowledge of European cars is about as great as my knowledge of the NBA semifinal round. Tommy Cananza saying 13-4 is a bad season. We're going 17-0, baby. 17-0 for the Dallas Cowboys this year. I'm on that bandwagon, Tommy. 17-0, winning 2 Super Bowls in one season. Winning 2 Super Bowls in one season. I probably should have got to this because it was something that was making me wonder about sports, right? I was listening to Unsportsmanlike this morning on ESPN. And they were talking about cursed franchises. And I wanted to ask the question, are the Dallas Cowboys cursed? Now, I don't think we have enough time to get to that today because we've only got about 2 minutes here. Augustine saying, like I said, this is the Cowboys' year, but the playoffs are next year. The Lamborghini Aventador. I got to look into it. I really got to look into it. I think the last thing I've ever cared about with a Lamborghini was a Lamborghini Murcielago, and that's just because it came out in a song. Tommy Cananza saying, my mom passed and I kept her 1992 Mercury Topaz. LOL. Man, whenever my mom died, she had like one of those vans that had that was converted for like the disabled vans. So you could put a wheelchair and stuff like that in it. And I wanted to keep that, but my sister kept it. So maybe if my sister gets older, I'm going to be like, hey, let me get that van. Something about a van. If this van's a rocking, you know what's going on in there. All right, everyone, I want to thank you so much for being a part of today's show. I appreciate it. I understand it wasn't a lot about sports. I can tell that the audience numbers tanked once we started talking about cars, but you know what? I'm happy anytime we get to talk about cars. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese cheesesteak and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive.